Are you recording yet, Rachel? I know you clapped earlier.
I'm recording, but I gotta clap again.
We need
They
our
hate
claps
it,
too.
but I have to. See, I don't have my beer.
I'm not.
I've got my
Starbucks. Oh my goodness.
That's my treat. I went out. I left the house. I got groceries. I got Starbucks.
I went out and went
It's
to
a
the
big day
NSLC
for me.
too. That's right.
Okay.
A big day. Okay. Well, and with that, welcome to the podcast is on. This is Due to Underwhelming Demand with Dave, Rachel, and Forman. By the way, we are the Cocaine Bear of podcasts.
Oh, Cocaine Bear.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Except we're not really as funny, but we are free. So
We're as
Not
much of a
quite as high.
sensation.
That's right.
Not yes.
That's right.
Sensation.
You don't
That's
have to
right.
buy a ticket to listen to this. Anyway, and Due to Underwhelming Demand is brought to you by Calves for a Cause. We're so
Yes.
happy that
Still.
yes.
Thank you to Daryl and Sarah Marcus. Calves for a Cause. If you're in the market for a calf, then you want to buy one for a cause, obviously. So there's an auction online happening April 5th during the Dairy Expo in Stratford.
Yes, if you would like to give yourself a fun summer and fall in the show ring, they just got in a sweet calf, which is a September victorious calf that you can bid on and send all the money to Children's Hospital.
Yes. So the point is, do you know what that kind of calf is, Foreman?
I don't ask any follow-up questions.
Okay.
great.
on
Foreman
what I'm
only
reading
knows
off the
about
Facebook
horses.
page.
He only
Just-
knows about horses.
Yeah.
All things. But I... That's it. It's, you
Don't
know, it's
try
an
to
inside
milk
joke.
a horse, by the way.
Don't
Foreman.
milk a horse,
Don't
Foreman.
milk
You
a
can
horse.
milk anything with nipples. We've all watched the movie.
Right, sure.
That's true.
Okay,
Anyway,
okay.
so if you do get a calf for a cause, all the proceeds and the commissions from each calf are being donated to the Children's Health Foundation here in London. And this is the third year for it. So thank you to Daryl and Sarah Marcus for doing that. Check out what they've got because they are coming out with all the calves that will be available already.
Okay.
So,
And thank you to both Daryl and Sarah for sponsoring this wonderful podcast. We have a special guest on the podcast today. We have never had a guest on our podcast.
no.
And so we're going to welcome Dan Tepfer. Dan is, Dan, I want to make sure I get this right. Did you create FarPlay that we're using to do this podcast? Are you the creator?
Yes, I'm the co-creator. Myself and my co-founder Anton Runoff. We created this software.
Okay.
International musical touring sensation and
Yes.
co-creator of
Yes.
the FarPlay
Yeah.
software that we're
And
using.
also, serendipitously, I've been looking for a calf for my place here in Brooklyn.
No way.
Yeah.
In Brooklyn,
I
even.
I live in Prospect, in an apartment building in Brooklyn. It's exactly
Mhm.
what I've
I'm
always
sure you
wanted.
have a courtyard or something you can
Oh,
put it
yeah.
in.
Massive backyard.
Yes.
I've always wanted to have a calf in there.
It's
So
like, you know how they
it's
say
perfect.
greyhounds
greyhounds make a great dog for an apartment.
Uh-huh.
Much do calves.
Yes,
I- I
calves.
I mean, the
When
smaller the better.
They
when I
don't. I
think-
mean, calves start small, so
That's
at
right.
least it'll fit there for a while.
I don't know much about Brooklyn, New York, but when I think Brooklyn, New York, I think calves.
Calves.
Right.
That's what I think. Apartment
I mean,
cows.
you would be the talk of the block. That's for sure, Dan. You would
Yeah.
be the talk of the block.
Okay.
If my apartment were a 2-bedroom instead of a 1-bedroom, I'd be looking at horses.
Sure, well,
Well,
as would Foreman, right?
yeah,
Foreman.
If you
Our
had more
inside
room.
joke, Dan, is that Foreman hates horses.
He
So
does-
that's.
he hates-
Wait, he knows about horses, but he hates horses?
He
well,
His mom has a horse named Windsor, and she loves the horse more than
Yeah.
she loves
I
him.
don't think Dan
It's a
has
lot
all
of
day,
childhood
guys.
trauma. It's a lot of childhood trauma.
Yeah, there's some psychoanalyzing that needs to go on here. But anyway,
So
Dan,
we-
you're here because and for those if you're enjoying the podcast, and we appreciate that you support us and listen to the podcast. The reason the podcast really works very well for us is because we host it, we record it using FarPlay, which Dan created, and part of the reason we went to FarPlay is because we're all in different locations. Two of us are kind of close together, and then Forman, of course, is on the East Coast. And FarPlay, Dan, works really well for us because there are unlike a Zoom call, and everybody knows what Zoom calls are like because we just went through, 2.5 or 3 years or whatever of COVID. There are delays and cutouts, and people are talking, and people don't have their pants on, and all of that stuff.
You're wearing pants?
Well, you don't know if
No,
I'm wearing pants or
no,
not.
no,
You'll never know.
No, you don't know. But far play is different, and as a musician,
You got to wear your pants on far
yeah,
play.
well,
Okay, all
we,
right.
we insist.
New rule, Dan. You
Yeah,
threw
that's
that
right.
out there.
But anyway, you created Far Play because you're an internationally known musician, and during COVID, you needed a way to hook up with other musicians.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm a jazz improviser is the thing, and so playing with other people is just like so important to me. I do a lot of solo touring and a lot of solo performing, but it's kind of like playing with other people, even if I'm not performing with them. Although I do perform with other people too. It's kind of like getting a big hug from a dear friend. And in my community, in the jazz community in New York, we play together all the time. And like 3 weeks into the pandemic, it was like all our gigs were canceled. Nobody's seeing anybody else. And
What are
we're
we
not
gonna
playing
do?
together.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah, what are we gonna do? And also just like getting really sad from not playing together. And like you haven't gotten any hugs in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I discovered a research project from Stanford University called Jacktrip that was very experimental software, not really publicly usable at that stage. But if you were a pretty hardcore computer nerd like I am, you could make it happen. And so I started using it with friends, and it would take about 4 hours to install it on their computers because again, very complicated at the time. And it was just incredible. Like suddenly here I am able to make music with other people. And I was amazed at how good it felt. With people playing with people within 500 or 1,000 miles felt like virtually like you were in the studio together, just like maybe in separate booths of a studio.
Amazing. Just
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is amazing. And the thing is that virtually no one knew that this was possible. I didn't know it was possible, and I'm a big techie and I'm a musician, and most people still don't know this is possible. And so what we did during the pandemic is I started contributing to the project, to the Jacktrip open source project, and I met my collaborator Anton Runoff, who's a super experienced coder in this field of low latency audio, and we decided to make an app that would actually make this super easy for people. The idea was to make it as easy to use as Zoom. You just open the app, you connect together with a session ID, the video's right there, and then you can record local files really easily. And so that's it. That's what we're doing with FarPlay, and we're constantly improving it. One of the things is that we always knew this was incredibly useful for musicians, but I also thought it was useful for podcasts, even
Here
though
we are.
Yeah, we weren't sure if people were going to do it because it's so much more natural as an interaction between people, and then like also you get much better sound. Then you can record the multi-track and mix it later. So we're just thrilled to see you guys using it for this great show.
Well, we're so
much
happy
better
that you
than-
created it.
Yeah.
I know
We've tried a few other services, yeah.
When we
But
decided
they
to
really
do it,
weren't up to par.
when we decided to do the podcast, we had to go through, well, where do we want to record it? We all went, well, there's Zoom, and we were like, nobody wants to Zoom. We hated Zoom. And Forman found you. Forman did a little bit of research, so credit Forman for finding FarPlay.
Brilliant.
And we have found it to be, it works really well for us. So congratulations on making something so easy.
So you feel, because you guys actually had a show together in real life before.
Yes, and
so
we
you're
were all
used
all in the same room, right?
And you're used to having that kind of interaction where you can
Right.
like jump in on each other's thoughts, interrupt each other.
Yep.
And that's like you can't really do it if you don't have low latency. And so that's
Exactly.
you find that you're able to capture pretty much the same feelings that you had before here.
Yes.
Yes. We found that
Yes.
other services we tried, there was too much delay, and so the reactions were delayed, and it just sounds awkward, right? Zoom was one of them, but there's several others. that we tried, but this has been the best so far.
It actually makes it even better than being in the same room together, because if there are points where we're all talking at the same time, like we have in this exact conversation,
Yeah.
Yes.
the recording comes in multi-track and I can just cut somebody out.
Yes.
Mhm.
That's actually
Really
something
good.
I've really enjoyed as a musician too. It's like usually if you're recording together, unless you're in the in a really really intense studio where everybody's in a separate booth, usually there's some bleed from one instrument to another.
Sure.
And so if somebody messes up or whatever, it can be complicated. It can be done, but it can be complicated to cut them out or edit their part, because their audio is also going to be in the other musicians and the other mics. But
Exactly.
yeah, with Farplay, you get total isolation. So-
There's nothing
Yep.
sweeter, honestly, when you you go through and go, oh, we can eliminate some Rachel. There's nothing.
What?
there's
Why?
nothing- we just- am I right, Forman? There's just nothing.
Why don't I have the power to be producing all of this stuff?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Please do.
Well, thank you for being with us today, Dan. Thank you for creating or working with your partner on Farplay and making this so much easier for us. Farplay is available for anybody, right? Where do you, I guess we should say where you get
And it's
Farplay.
very, it's a great price. I just want to put that out there. I know you had mentioned that before, but it's a
better
great
price
price.
than pretty much all other services.
It is, which
Yeah.
is
by
amazing.
quite a lot, I think, right? Because
Yeah.
I think most services that are comparable, but actually, in my opinion, not as good, are like $20 a month.
Oh, at least.
And this is
Yeah.
like the low. You can actually do it for free, but then if you want to do multi-user meetings and record, you're going to want to have the standard plus level, and that's going to be $8 a month. So we've really
$8.
we really tried to make it really cheap.
Cheaper than Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Well, I hope for your sake, obviously, that it catches on more. And I hope for, my own entertainment sake that it does, because there's a lot of podcasts that I listen to that don't sound very good and would sound better if they used this.
Right.
Plus,
Okay.
when we, being in the radio business, we interview a lot of artists, and a lot of artists out of Nashville, especially during COVID, would
Mhm.
talk about how they would try and write with each other over Zoom,
Yeah.
but they couldn't really perform together.
Yeah.
And now we sit here with this great software, thinking like, you guys are like professional musicians. You need this.
Yeah.
I hope maybe
Yeah.
they do it.
And many of them don't yet know about it. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
where is it? Tell where do you get
You
Farplay?
just go to farplay.io, and everything else should be pretty self-explanatory. You can download
Yep.
it right there and go without even creating an account. But if you want to
Perfect.
get a subscription, create an account, get a subscription, and then try it out. It's pretty self-explanatory.
If I can do it, anybody can do it. And that's a fact. That is a fact. That's a fact.
Look
Dan,
at him.
thank you very much. Thank you. We love Farplay, so thank you. And thanks
you
for
so
being
much,
with us.
And thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, really
Thank
great
you,
to meet you
Dan.
all.
Nice
and
to meet
I'm
you.
going to be looking forward to listening to more of your great show.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
Here's the bell. That means we're done. This is Due to Underwhelming Demand with Dave, Rachel, and Forman. And Forman, you just recently took a little southern vacation.
I did. I went to Mexico for the first time.
Ever? You've never been to Mexico?
Never
No.
been.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, you have many times. Must be nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I've been a few times. Yes.
Yes, a few
All right.
times.
A good trip?
Oh, boy.
That's what I'm
And, it,
hearing.
Oh,
and
boy.
that's not because it was a group trip.
Oh,
That's-
sure.
that's-
Okay.
That's why I'm here. That's what I'm here for.
All right.
How
Is
was
that
For-
popcorn popping? I can hear in
Yes,
the background.
I'm
Right.
just waiting. Just
Okay.
waiting.
All right. So Forman goes on vacation. What happened? What went wrong?
Well, we started the vacation with everyone having the stomach bug that I had talked about.
Your
before.
family.
Yeah, the technical
Your
difficult-
family. Yeah.
That's how we
technical-
went into the vacation.
Technical difficulties, right? Okay.
Technical difficulties,
That's
and
right.
then
Yeah.
the day after we recorded that podcast, and it was the day before leaving. Emily had to go to the emergency room here in Halifax.
Oh, great.
And got diagnosed with ear infections and eye infections.
Oh, my. The
And
day
there-
before.
And there we go off to Mexico with her brand new glasses
Oh, boy.
and medicine that needs to be administered 3 times a day and kept refrigerated.
Oh, boy.
Nice.
How do you do that on the beach?
Well, that's a good point.
You have to go back to your room and raid the
Wow.
minibar.
Every day.
Every
Yeah.
day.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Until
Yeah.
we actually stopped that because she stopped eating and drinking.
What?
And we eventually needed the resort doctor.
No good.
No.
The resort doctor, for anyone, by the way, just the visit starts at $170 US.
Oh
And
my god.
170 US, really?
Yes,
Wow.
and
Did
they
you have
will not
travel
take your
insurance?
insurance.
Yeah.
You
They
have to pay
won't?
them first.
Yeah.
We're working on getting it reimbursed. It
Wow.
probably will get reimbursed.
Okay, good.
All right.
Good.
How's the resort doctor's English?
Actually, pretty good.
Okay,
Okay,
good.
good.
All right.
It
Good.
better be for $170.
Yes. Yes. It better be.
Plus, would you like her to take your
Oh.
vital signs? That's another $50. Oh,
What?
would you like this? That's another $30.
Oh my.
Emily eventually needed a needle. It was essentially a needle of Gravol in her butt cheek, which is another
What?
$30.
Wow.
So now we're in well over $200 here.
Did
Almost
that?
300.
I'm just curious because I used to Gravol's notorious for putting you to sleep. What does it do to your butt cheek?
Yes.
Well, it makes you scream.
Oh. The
Makes you
poor
get a big
girl.
Don't let me
bruise.
get your
Yeah, a
little-
bruise. Was she terrible at giving needles? What the heck?
And then it gives a 5-year-old a Band-Aid, which they refuse to let you remove for an entire week, even though they're in a pool every day.
Okay, on their butt.
On
The
their
kid,
butt.
The kid
Yeah.
refused?
Yes.
Or the dog?
Okay.
Oh,
No, she wouldn't let
yeah.
us take the
Yeah,
Band-Aid
you leave
off.
that Band-Aid on, Dad.
Right.
I don't want anything leaking out of my butt.
Mhm.
No, not in the communal pool.
No.
Which, if you think
exactly.
about it, say when you're at home, say if you go to the pool in London, here we go to the Canada Games Centre for Emily swimming lessons. If a kid has an accident in a pool, that pool is closed.
Mhm.
If a kid has an accident at a pool at a resort, when has that pool ever been closed? It never gets closed.
No.
And you
Never,
found that out on this
ever,
vacation?
All you do is delay the foam party.
Well,
Yeah. So you can find it first.
it wasn't our fault, but Ashley was in the pool washroom when another mom came in, rinsed out her child's bathing suit, put it back on, and back to the
Okay.
water slides they go.
This is why we go to
Oh.
we go to an adult only resort.
Uh-huh.
But no,
Oh, boy.
honestly, that doesn't cure the problem. I'm sure.
No.
Nope. So she was okay with the gravel? Like, did she get better with the gravel? Couldn't you
Yeah.
just give her a tile, like a pill gravel?
It wasn't a good scene. So yes, by about the next day,
She's
she
better.
got better. Essentially,
Okay.
because
Good.
she was needed to be in the bathroom a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and the doctor's assessment there was that because of the timing of her activities and whatever, it was probably food related, so that her stomach just didn't agree with something she had eaten at dinner.
Mm.
Okay.
So we worked that through. She recovered, and
Okay,
she had
good.
a good rest of the week.
Okay, good. So is that
I'm
it?
glad.
Everything else was great.
Ashley had a cold the whole time
Okay.
Uh-huh.
and had one day in the room where she was constantly in the bathroom
Yes.
and also in bed and stuffed up and all the rest of it.
Oh my gosh.
So that wasn't great for her. At
Okay.
the same time, Emily needed the resort doctor. Our other friends, one of the other two families that were there, they had gone on an excursion, which is like a 2-hour bus ride to go see the Mayan ruins.
Yeah,
Mhm.
good
Go to
Larry.
town.
You want to do
Mhm.
that when you're
Go
in
to
Mexico?
cenote, all this
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, all that stuff.
Their daughter is 10
Uh-oh.
and was uncontrollably throwing up on the bus the whole way back to the resort,
Oh my gosh.
where they had the resort doctor come up to the room in the middle of the night, which
the
costs
middle-
more than $170.
I
does,
bet it
sure.
does.
I'll
yes.
bet it does. And I'll
And it
bet
gets-
there's nothing like being on a resort bus with a kid throwing up the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wait,
That's
did
gotta-
they have a bag for her? Like, I hope
I think so.
That's awful. The poor girl.
I
She would have
know.
felt
The
terrible.
poor girl. What about the rest of the people on the bus,
Oh,
Rachel?
who cared? They're not throwing up.
Well, the resort doctor
Yeah.
couldn't do much on the resort, so here comes the ambulance.
Oh,
They
no.
go into the hospital in Playa del Carmen
Oh my god.
for not one, but 2 nights.
Oh boy.
Are you kidding? 2 nights this girl had to be in the
This is
hospital.
Wow.
Thousands of dollars.
No kidding.
Holy
That
cow.
they want to
That's a lot of
square
money.
away before they'll even take the kid out of the ambulance and administer any care whatsoever.
Really? You have to pay
Boy.
up front.
Oh, you sure do.
Oh,
And this
yeah.
is this is a tourist, like a locals wouldn't go to this hospital. It's a
No.
tourist hospital.
Yeah.
And they know you have travel insurance. How much? Well, I wonder how much we can charge them. And they
Mhm.
just add on more and more and more and more and more.
Nice.
She did need care. She had acute dehydration
Mhm.
and ended up
Wow.
testing positive completely randomly for strep throat.
Oh boy.
Okay.
But they did. I
Wow.
mean, the actual doctors and nurses there did give very good care. They had
Okay.
great bedside manner. Their English was
Good.
pretty good.
Good.
But it was 2 nights in
Yes,
hospital
that's
for this
expensive.
10-year-old and her mom.
Well,
That's
crazy.
something we totally take for granted here in Canada. Like, we don't pay for that,
Mhm.
No.
right? I
Well,
mean,
we do.
you go there.
We pay for it, Rachel.
we pay for it,
We
but
pay for it. Don't
not
But
when you
Not
go.
up front.
No,
Right.
not up front. We don't.
Yeah.
Okay. So is that it? Because that's terrible.
No.
Oh no.
But that doesn't end. That doesn't end there.
Our flight home, I was totally fine. We had a full day. We were coming back on a Saturday. We had a full day out of the resort. Didn't have to leave the resort till 5 p.m.
Mhm.
Flight was at 10
10 p.m.
10 p.m.,
Oh
which was
my
delayed till about
gosh.
11.
Oh, wow.
It's a 5-hour flight to Halifax,
Mm-hmm.
plus the time change. So we didn't pull into the driveway until 6 a.m. the next morning
That's a long day.
at home. It sure
Mhm.
was.
Long day.
We had a fine day in the pool. We went to the water slides. We went to the buffets, all the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a couple of hours to get from the resort back to the airport,
Mhm.
which we almost couldn't do because no one came to pick us up.
Just
Some
you or
other
the whole bus?
van, which was being driven by an Air Transat guy, came at the same time, did not have our names on the list. The only way he took us is because he had 2 no-shows. We're like, hurry up and go so they don't show.
Oh wow.
Get us out of here.
Oh
We're
my
going.
gosh.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And as soon as we got through security at the Cancun airport, I hit a wall. I
Oh,
felt
no.
awful. At the time we were about to board the plane,
Oh my
I
gosh.
made very good friends with a bathroom stall at the Cancun
Oh
airport
my gosh.
in all possible forms. To the point where Ashley and the girls
Forman.
had to come to the door of the bathroom and be like, "Are you in there? We're boarding.
Yeah.
We're leaving."
Yeah. We're gonna leave you here, Dad.
Uh-huh.
Daddy,
Oh my gosh.
we're going home. Bye.
How'd you
Mhm.
do on the plane?
Awful. I was sick the entire flight.
Oh my
The
gosh.
poor flight attendants, I had to keep hitting the button and they had to keep taking away baggies
Okay.
So you just
Mhm.
threw up the whole time.
the whole time.
Wow.
Oh
was
my gosh.
Awful.
I can't believe you guys were so sick.
Mhm.
What did you have? Was it food poisoning?
I don't know, because it was
It's
was a
The
vacation-
norovirus?
It's vacation poisoning.
You got sick beforehand. I thought
I
you
know.
got it out of your system.
we went in getting sick and we left getting sick.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh, that's horrible.
Remind
Yes.
me never to go on a trip with you. By the way,
It's
Jeez.
never been that bad.
ever.
Oh
never.
my
Every
gosh.
trip you go on.
Do you think
something
you're ever
happens.
going to go away again? Like, have you guys given up?
We should, apparently.
Yeah, maybe you should stop.
Wow.
Just stop.
We're just going to spend winter in Cape Breton.
Yeah, right.
No,
Here
I,
it's pleasant.
I don't know about that.
It
may-
snows and melts and snows and melts.
No, it might be
you know.
better. It might be better to put up with a week of what you just went through. I think. Cape Breton? Are you serious? Come on. This is Due to Underwhelming Demand, the podcast with Dave, Rachel, and Forman. So, Rach.
My daughter has a brand new game, which includes us when she has her friends over. So
No,
last night,
already no.
I
no,
know,
No
I know.
children's game when your friend's over. That includes me.
No,
this
sorry.
is why we
Kidding.
have friends over. I don't want to have
Exactly.
to play with you, right?
Yeah.
This is
Go
why we have-
downstairs,
This is
close
why-
the door.
Yep,
This is
but
why
they don't.
This is why Mom and Dad have a bedroom.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Leave us
right.
Leave us alone.
Leave us alone.
Yeah.
So, the new thing, the last several times she's had friends over, different friends even, is a spy game, and they are spying on us, the adults. So the spying happens with, they'll get out the baby monitor and they put I can see what they're doing. Like, it's not very sneaky. They
Mhm.
set up the camera in like, if I'm in the kitchen, they'll put it in the kitchen so they can watch and see what's going on. And I just kind of ignore it. Whatever, you know,
just
you
pick your
guys
nose and
play.
scratch your ass when you're on camera.
Yeah, well, I could. I mean, maybe I do. I don't know what they've got me doing. So that's what they've been playing. So the other day, we find spy notes that have been taken. I don't know if your girls are obsessed with little notebooks. They love having
Yeah.
little notebooks, making notes of things,
There's
all
pieces
kinds
of
of
paper
lists.
with like one scribble each on
Oh.
it everywhere.
Oh, and then
Amazing.
my kids will cut up tiny little squares and like fold them for
Yes.
games or
Oh,
and I'm
bits of paper.
constantly
Oh.
finding bits of paper all over my house. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so we're cleaning up the other day and we find this notebook and it says spy notes. Spy notes.
Uh-huh.
So we're like, oh, okay, this must have been from the other day when she had a friend over and they were playing. I didn't even know they were doing this. So the spy notes were actually made by her friend, Julia's friend. And it says at the top, Jeremy, which is my husband, but spelled wrong. Jeremy with an A.
My popcorn's popping now.
Yeah, so they're spying on Jeremy is what they were doing.
And what'd they get?
And so it only lists two things. It says number one, okay, Jeremy, number one, lazy.
Keen observation.
Keen observation. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I mean,
yeah.
Anyway.
What was he doing?
Number two on the list was
number two.
There's number two, likes TikTok. That's what it says.
So
okay.
He's on his phone.
That's it. Just two things.
He was on his phone.
He was lying on the couch on his phone. And he's like, of course they don't spy on me when I'm like doing the laundry, shoveling a little path outside for the dog, trying to pick up the dog poop in the yard, whatever else I'm doing. And he's like, of course they spy on me when I'm just sitting on the couch for 20 minutes. He's like, I don't even have TikTok. It's Instagram Reels, but to the kids it looks the same. They're not allowed to be on it anyway, so they have no idea. So they that's their assessment of Jeremy. So we brought it up to Julia.
I have to say that that's pretty good. If that's what if he was lying on the couch on Instagram, then they nailed it.
Lazy likes TikTok.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
well
same.
done. Yeah, well done.
Same.
Give them a bell.
We brought it up to Julia. And she said, well, number one was my friend. I didn't write that one. I wrote number two.
Oh, what's
we're like, okay. Number one was lazy. Number two
was likes TikTok.
Likes TikTok. So so we were like, oh, okay. Anyway, I thought it was hilariously funny. I took a picture of it. I'll post it. So you can see.
I'm wondering if they had any observations of Mom.
I haven't seen so far, but I maybe next time.
Bullshit.
I haven't, honestly. It was just
No. You said you found a whole booklet labeled spy notes, and here you found one page to share with us.
Yeah.
What's on the rest of the pages?
I think there's
the
more.
notebook said, the notebook said, oh, what does it say? Spy notes. Here's what we need, and then it said we need a whoopee cushion and a distraction because they were trying to put the whoopee cushion down so that we would sit on it, right? Because obviously hilarity ensues.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with spy games, but that would be funny. I would like to see that.
No, it doesn't have anything
You're
to do with
still
spy
avoiding
games.
what the spy notes said about you.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't say anything about me, actually. It was just that. But I did sit on the whoopee cushion because I knew that would be a hit. So I thought, okay, let's do that.
Like when I was a kid, we didn't have baby monitors. We didn't have cameras. I mean, they can spy really well now. When I was a kid, all I ever really wanted to be was on the radio, which I was lucky enough to do.
Because it was just invented.
Yeah, exactly. That's all there was. There was so I had a tape recorder, and I could tell you how old this tape recorder. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. But my parents would have people over to play cards or whatever.
Oh, yes.
We were always said, well, we're having company. Go to your room or whatever. Go to bed. Do whatever. But I would I'd get my tape recorder and the microphone, and I would secretly record what the conversations and everything else that was going on.
Oh, you would.
Yeah, and they were delightful.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they were not for kids' ears.
No. They wouldn't be.
So you be careful when you say spy game. Oh, who cares? Go ahead, do a spy game.
Well, they haven't recorded me that I know of, but I don't know. They're taking notes anyways.
Because I had a lot of questions, and you will have some spleening to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a list of words here that I've never heard before. Explain.
What's this mean, Mummy?
This is Due to Underwhelming Demand with Dave, Rachel, and Forman.
We were thinking of, something for Dave to do now that he's retired. He's not golfing.
I've got lots to do. I'm not.
Oh, you do?
I'm not necessarily retired. I'll do much, but that doesn't mean I'm retired. Stop calling me that.
So far, you have half an hour a week of things to do, and that's about it.
Are you going to go back to work?
Maybe.
Oh, okay. Well,
maybe.
I mean, there's a couple of things
Somebody needs me, yes. Of course.
There's a couple of things Forman and I thought maybe you might consider as like a retirement job or a part-time job.
Mhm.
A
I won't
part-time
call it a
job.
retirement job.
Yeah, stop it.
Well,
Right.
first of all, because I've been away and I feel like maybe I haven't seen you for a week, my first observation is, since when did you have a beard?
I've had the beard for almost 3 months, so it's been
3
around.
months.
Yes.
Ah.
Yeah.
This is usually the time of year that you would grow a beard too.
I do,
It's
yeah,
usually
it's not-
around your birthday.
No,
think
no.
January?
No. I always do it right around the holidays because it's wintertime. I grow a winter beard.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
sort of
well,
like a
yes.
play. It's a playoff beard, except I'm not in the playoffs,
Oh, okay.
It
and
looks,
it has nothing to do with hockey. It's
It
just-
looks
what makes-
very. It looks very Miracle on 34th Street.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so you're suggesting now that I look like a Santa Claus.
Yes. And what do people do when they are retired and have beards
Mm-hmm.
and
No.
live near Masonville Mall?
You know what? Actually, I think I'd be a pretty good Santa Claus. Yeah, I think I would be. I hadn't given that much thought.
So you
I don't
think
want-
you would be a good Santa Claus
Well,
with the beard?
I wasn't going to keep the beard, but maybe I should because it would get pretty. I think it could get. Yeah, I'm just looking on the video here. Yeah, it could get a little longer. It could, yeah, if I kept it around. Yeah, I mean it's it's almost springtime, so it's not Santa time, but yeah,
You would
that's
be a
something.
terrible Santa Claus.
Why?
You don't like children. You can't be a Santa Claus.
No, I don't. I like that. Don't. That's not true. That I don't like children. I have 3 children.
Okay,
Right,
you
and
like them.
I love all of them. I just
Sure.
don't like anybody else's kids.
No,
Right.
yeah. I
Right.
hate your
You have
children.
3 children
No
and
offense.
1 grandchild.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
You have to be a Santa. You have to love other people's children.
no, I think to be a good Santa Claus, I think I would be good for like if you, for instance, if the 2 of you were to bring your girls to sit on Santa's knee,
Mhm.
I'd be and then they would give me their full list of things that they want, and then I could be totally honest with them. Like
Oh, nobody wants you to do that.
Santa would say,
Mm-mm.
"Look, Julia, you don't really want that because in 3 days after I give that to you, it's just going to sit in the corner of your room. So
Mm.
you don't
Like-
really want that. Ho ho ho! You're not getting it."
That's a terrible Santa.
Okay.
No, wait a
Sorry,
minute, what do you
I-
mean?
this-
That's
I agree
terrible?
with it, but you're still supposed to sit there and be fat and jolly.
I said ho ho ho. What do you want? I
Uh.
think what you need is an honest Santa Claus. I could be that. I
Yeah.
won't wear the red suit.
What
I don't
are
want to
you
wear the red
talking
suit.
about?
I probably wear just a hoodie and some really baggy jeans and some. Let me see. I have running shoes with the straps on them. The Velcro straps. Come sit on my knee, kids.
Wearing a sweater,
Yeah,
some jeans,
a hoodie,
Velcro
maybe, a hoodie.
shoes,
Yeah, sure.
and giving kids a hard slice of life.
yes, exactly.
So what? So
That's
what
right.
you are, Dave?
I don't
is
know
a-
I don't know which mall wants that, but I'm available.
Possibly-
Malls don't want that.
No, school buses need that.
School buses need that. And they need school bus drivers.
Oh, sure.
Yes, they do. They
Yeah.
need school bus drivers.
I'm my lovely wife grew up. One of her best friends happens to be a Murphy.
Okay.
You may have heard of their bus lines.
I've
the
heard of that bus
Empire.
line. Yes.
I also happen to know
the Murphy Empire.
Yeah, I know, and I know Rob Murphy. We've had many dealings with Rob. Nice guy.
Yes.
Rob,
Rob.
Rob loves the radio. Loved our radio show. All of that stuff. I think some feelers were put out to see if Dave was interested in driving a school bus.
Oh,
and here's
okay.
the thing: he's not interested at all.
Okay.
That's the
If you
perfect
can.
candidate, Dave.
No, I
You
don't want-
actually are. There's a shortage of bus drivers.
Yes.
You don't love children. You'd be a hard ass, and I think that's what they need in a bus driver.
Salty retired disinterest is the
Yes.
key candidate.
Have you seen me
Yes.
drive? Do you
Yes.
really want to put your kids in a school bus that I'm
Yeah.
driving?
No, I
We
mean
do
you'd have
every
to slow
day.
down.
That-
You'd have to go the speed limit. That's
No.
the thing.
No, I would just be darting in and out of traffic.
Kids on the bus.
I signal. Don't
You know
worry.
what?
I
No
always-
kid on your bus
I
would
always-
stand in the aisle. They wouldn't dare. I tell you that right
I
now.
always signal, and boy, don't get in my way or I honk.
You can get in touch with us anytime. And if you want to buy us a coffee, if you feel like that, buymeacoffee.com/underwhelming. It helps us pay for things like CarPlay.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you for listening.